All right, we should be live. Can you check it now for me?
Yeah. Yep.
Yep, all right. Well, let's begin. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to the
Weekly
WAYPN.
WAYPN.
I'm Karl,
And I'm Sunny,
aka,
Henry, and Sangeeta.
and we have with us.
James, thank you for having me.
We always have that little delay when we have a guest on.
Yeah. And I'm just gonna put up a message for the members, and just say if they want to join, feel free to do so. If you wish to join into
What? Oh yeah.
the review, feel free. And can you just put up that in the streams,
The
please?
link.
Yes.
Okay. Oh right, yeah. Okay.
Alright, and then we will get right to it. So, first off, we've got RJ Warren with his very long, lengthy text of slowly adding in colour.
Yeah. Yes. Was it not update?
Yeah,
it not
no,
just
no,
update?
just slowly adding in colour.
Okay, sorry, 1 second. I gotta study that. Right, yeah.
So, yeah, it is what it is. But
Oh, we've got 2 people join us today. 3 people join us along with James. Okay,
so,
great.
we're not going to go in depth on this one because much further on, I think it's, where are we? We're quite a few
Yeah, there's a
in.
lot.
Yeah,
There's a lot.
we've got him finally finished. So we're just going to take a look at the process. And I found it so weird the way that he did it. And that's why I was really hoping to get Warren on for this one, but I don't think we will be. Because when we had it, it was just
black with
so-
yellow lights.
yeah. So it was black, and then he added the grey, and then he added the white. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. You put in your values,
Standard. Yeah.
and then he started with doing the yellow,
And I
and
was
we
like,
were sort of like,
Huh?
okay, yeah.
Yeah, like, cause like, what about the skin or? And then
Yeah.
we were trying to contemplate, and I was like, telling Henry that okay, he maybe he's just going for like a lighting thing where like everything's in shadow and only the light source is showing
And that
through.
I understood until he added the yellow.
And then it was like, oh okay, he's adding colors, he's adding flesh tones. And how did that happen? When did that happen?
Yeah.
And it was like, what about the yellows? How is it not touching the yellows?
All right. Well, let us move on to our next piece.
It
is.
Are we gonna read this one?
Oh no, because the next one is. Hold up. Have I missed? Yeah. Okay. So the next one. The next one is by Alexander.
It?
Yeah.
Okay, because
Here we are. No.
I'm
Look.
correct, right?
No. So you're there, and then up here. Scroll up.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yep.
All right. So I was a bit further down. All right,
Right.
so we got Alexander. Here are some of my Sisters of Battle I have painted. I really like the color scheme that you've gone for.
All right. Well, James, you're the guest. So would you like to give some commentary on this one?
Thank you very much. Well, first up, I really find how eye-catching the paint scheme is. This is not something I could have thought of, but I'm not a very good Warhammer player, so part to the course. Yeah, if I saw this army on like a tournament and area, I would feel compelled to walk over and have a look over it. I really like how he's mixed the aqua, white, and green together. That's like, it's not chaos. It actually looks uniformly in a way, and I really like how he's done like little lava bases. I'd like to ask him how he did that on so many models.
May I read the story that he has given?
Oh,
for
sure,
this? Okay.
sure.
So, the story is they were Order of the Sacred Rose once, but when they were out crusading, they got trapped on a night feudal world where they were resupplying. When a warp storm opened up in the system and chaos demons and raiders start to attack, They quickly ran out of fuel and had to swap to a new fuel source on the planet that burns a bright green. And since it was clearly a miracle, they reformed as the Order of the Emerald Flame. Ooh. Oh, that is epic, man. Oh, yeah. Can I what about these colors?
All right, would you like to comment on that?
No, I think I think I'm with James on this because that green, that aqua green or emerald green, I suppose, very eye catching, and we don't see the Sisters of Battle in these colors at all. And now I'm understanding why he probably did the split of the emerald green half and the white half, because maybe that's the Order of the Rose, the original color scheme. But from the pictures, I would like to see more, like maybe one of the models by itself turn around, because I think the Aquilas and stuff, I'm not sure if they're painted. So that's the only thing that I'd like to see.
Mm-hmm.
And
because we've only got this one picture.
Yeah, we only have one picture of them.
Mm.
And I'd like to see more details.
Well, so for me, the big thing is I like the halftone, I guess is what you could call it. The
Yeah.
you know, the way he splits. I guess it's quarter because he does it white on one side, and then for the legs it's different. But I do feel the way that he's done the quote unquote emerald flame on the cape is like it either needs to be blended more or needs to be stylized more.
Yeah, so maybe a bit of blending and maybe a white tips, and then put like a green contrast over to create a bit of a glow effect or something.
Well, I think, you know, either do that blending or like make it quite stylized, just do flames but in emerald colors.
Yeah, fair enough. We've also got Ghost and Dino on. No? Okay. Alright, so we'll just move.
Alright, so we'll move on to the next thing.
Cal Vanoni.
Yes, next up we've got Cal.
This did some bases and scatter.
Alright, well, we'll start off with James and let us know what you think of these, James.
Well, I think this is a wonderful example of the invisible squad. Like, I can't
Oh,
think
yes.
there's anything there.
Of course.
It's amazing. I mean, it's like he's done such a good job making it invisible. No. And I like it. I guess the base master will have more words than me in a minute. I only have like the question of the little things on the base. I'm a little bit confused of, are they like skulls who are sitting on there? Are they like snails? Yeah, like I just.
I'm pretty sure they are skulls, but yes. Anything else you would like to add?
The big base to the right.
Yeah.
He better put an impressive character model on there, or I'm going to be disappointed, because you need someone of epic character to be on a base that big.
Yeah, I'm just going to take that down so that people can see it a bit better.
The two bases off to the side, yeah.
Alright, so what about you, Sunny? Any thoughts?
I think I can see some texture there with probably like a green stuff and texture roller on. I'd like to actually see more of what that texture is. Is it Aztec or what? Try to get a sense of.
It's a bit blurred, yes.
Yeah, like what the theme is. It looks good at this angle, but I'm not too sure what the story is for this base. So I think. Yeah.
So I'll add my two pieces. So I think that the color choices that he's gone for are quite interesting. They're quite harmonizing. But it will all very much depend on what is contrasting against them. Because so quite often he uses these sort of similar colors for this, for his models.
Yes.
But I think like they're very readable in the difference in things, and there's some nice color variation, which is nice. But we're going to have to see what he does with it. With these bigger ones, I like that he's actually done some difference in color, because quite often when people do up these mechanical things, they just do steel and a wash and call it done.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good direction, but they are what they are. They're bases. Question.
Rumble says, question, do you guys like the rounded edges like these bases or angled like 40k?
I like the angled bases like 40k because they seem to grip better, in my opinion.
Like with your fingers, like holding?
No, on the tabletop.
Oh, I didn't.
So, like, if you've got, for example, a rolling hill,
Uh-huh.
they'll stick to it more than
Really?
these sorts of bases.
what
So
the
from
difference is.
from a practical point of view, I think that's the big thing. All right, so next up, we've got James, and as per usual, the guest must read out what they've got.
Yes. Yes. From Mass Effect, the board game, WAYPN Live, you can skip this to go ahead. We'll have an update soon, which I do.
Mm-hmm.
And what can I do about the? This is what I can do about 2 or 3 hours over 2 nights painting. This is Gowis from the Normandy crew. Just the bare minimum done so far, as he'll be much more better looking soon. Yeah, this was from a like completely nothing start to
Yeah, but
what
I
I got
mean,
done.
like, blocking in colors is part of it. So, that's part of the process. But yeah, it's good to share the process with people so that people know, what you're doing, how it's going. All right. So we will move on, as you have asked, because it's finished later on. Next up, we have our Design versus Law 12. And what was the purpose behind the Crocs? And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed those ones. It seems like people liked the Design versus Law, but not so much the purpose behind the Crocs, or at least nobody seemed to have watched it. Alright, so next up, we've got Calvinoni with some Frostgrave Demons. Alright, let's take a look, and I'll throw it to James first. And guys who are on the Discord, just when you find a moment, if you would like to join in,
and give your commentary, please.
Yeah,
feel
say
free.
so now. I'll give a moment of dead air if you'd like to join in.
Well, I'm gonna sound mean here, and I apologize, but I'd just like more context for it. Like, I'd like to hope that they're not finished because I'd like to know more about them. Like I'm trying to work out what type of demons they are, and like, yeah, I would just like more character identifying marks to give them more character. Unless they're meant to be a bunch of mob guys, then I can kind of understand what looks like you've kind of
What
done.
do you mean by mob guys? Can you?
Like the skeleton guys that you always find in dungeons, or your basic orc, like just very like the hero is meant to kill 100 of them without a care in the world kind of mob.
Basic
But if
troopers.
yeah, but if they are more like elite or a main part of the game that this is for, I'd like more expression. That I'm just seeing a lot of bronze. I'm sorry, that feels mean, but yeah, I'd just like more.
I think it's true. There's a lot of bronze, a tiny bit of gold, and
A lot of red.
well, it's bronze.
Is it just
Yeah.
because it looks like a bit like red to me.
So, like, for example, let's say that you're going to do these guys as all armored up. That's okay. That's fine. If you're gonna have them be like these completely armored guys, okay, I get it. But the problem is, so for example, with those chainmail skirts, you could make those chainmail. You could, there's a lot of ways to add some variation with this.
Yeah, so pick out the details a little.
Yeah.
Of each element.
Or
Simply.
even do some sloppy freehand on the shields. Like, there's a lot of variation you could add. And, like...
This is generally how Cal does paint.
I know,
Yeah.
but
I'm not saying either of you are wrong. I agree. I think there could be a bit more done. And if for your context, James, in Frostgrave, everybody's got a squad of 10, and each one is their own role. So, like, you would have your wizard and your apprentice, and those two are your main guys. And the troops around you, the warband, the other 8 characters, they could be different things. They could be like a spearman, a crossbow guy. they all have their own sort of role, so you can make each one individualistic. It's not necessarily that they are all the same. So I think he could use some further identifiers, let's just say. Yeah?
Okay, thank you for the context. It's good to know.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we should move on from this to our next one. So we've got another update from
RJ.
Yeah, some more details, some more back and forth, some mistakes, and some more progress. So in the Discord, Warren actually talked about how he doesn't think that he'll try use this process again.
Which we are still confused what this process is.
Yes. That's why I was very much hoping to have him on to sort of explain. And I can sort of see what he's doing. He's trying to sort of follow the light and then colorize from there, which I could have gotten a lot more with the white and then add your color over that. But it's just such a confusing process for me. He said that he's trying out somebody else's technique, and I just look at it and I'm like, why? What do you? No, I am
we
confused.
Don't understand. Yeah, it looks great, but we just don't know how it's achieved.
All right,
Yeah.
So next up, we've got Larry Hassenflug.
Yeah, we have R2D2 and C3PO. The gold I use is pretty much perfect for 3PO. Aztec gold dry brushed with gold. I dry brushed R2 with the silver, then highlight the actual metal parts of Vallejo silver, and turned out very shiny and pretty. Now I have to paint all the white and blue, etc. 3PO's legs use the same base and highlight colors, but it didn't dry brush it. For grins, I dry brushed the mech shown with the silver and then a little highlight painting with the Vallejo silver. Mostly on edges on the front, just to see how it worked, and I think I may make something of this. The paint is some stuff on sale cheap on Amazon. Advertised as metallics, but they're really pearlescent. Very pretty, but fussy. Still trying to figure out the best way to thin them, and they break down pretty quickly. I think it looks very cool.
So this is a whip, and I do believe we've got some more progress down the line. But what I find interesting is how he says he just dry brushes it on, and I think just dry brushing it has really helped the whole process, because often it's a classic way of doing things. You get on and you do the dry brush of your metallic over black, and it often does come up just very nicely. But I think, yeah, it's looking good. We're looking at part of the process. I don't think that there's much to add at the moment. I do believe I'm just gonna.
Price is using regular acrylics for. I recognize that brand.
I do.
Yeah, it's like a.
I think, like he said, he was trying it out.
Yeah.
But we'll move on from this one because this is just a whip, and then we move on to
Alvanoni once again.
Alright.
Stone Giant.
Alright, well, you're up first, James. So what would you like to say about this big boy?
He's definitely a big boy. If those, I think, human skulls at his feet are any indication on the scale, he is.
Take a look.
This is the thinnest giant I've ever seen, so he needs to keep eating those humans if he wants to bulk up to normal giant size. I like what he's done with the club. Like, mostly people always do like a wooden or stone club. I like that he's gone with this maybe emerald gemstone or greenish stone color. That's a nice little touch, and he's done a great job of obvious bone and fur and making it distinct from the skin of the giant. And yeah, helps it stand out. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is basically what we are missing from the demons that he painted up earlier on. This is what we're talking about. the elements are all picked out. You've got the bones are differentiated, the skin is
Mm,
differentiated,
mm,
teeth,
exactly.
weapon, the
I do
costume.
I do think, however, there is one thing that I think you could have a little more variation. For example, it seems that the cloth and the bone are done in a very sort of
Similar brown colors.
yeah.
Yeah.
And you could use like some distinctive difference because the bones are slightly red, which I like, which is this
It's
sort
like
of like
bloody bones
yeah,
and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and it's just simple choices like this which will help things pop a lot. Like for example, like I think he didn't bring the green all the way down, but I think if he did, that would pop a lot because we've got all of these sort of grey tones, red tones, and then green, which helps make it stand out.
Yeah.
All right. And I just realized that people have been talking in the
Have they been talking in
in the
Discord?
stream room. Yes, they've been
Oh.
typing, but I did not
Yeah,
realize.
because we always look at the YouTube chats, not here.
Yep. All right. So next up, we have Larry Hassenflug.
Okay.
R2D2 looking much better now.
Look at that. Yeah, looking much better. I love this blue. Proper ultramarine blue, actually.
I'm not sure if he's finished yet, but James, you're a bit of a Star Wars fan, aren't you?
Yes, I am currently surrounded by a lot of Star Wars stuff at the moment, so I
So,
feel like I can weigh in on this discussion.
all right. Well, what are you thinking of how he's looking now? I'm not sure that he's finished, but yeah.
Well, this will seem really mean, but I'm hoping that it's not finished.
Yep.
Just because I really like what he's done with the silver and blue. He's done a wonderful job picking out all the little details. That's something you always dread for painting droids, just a lot of like buttons and lights
Mhm.
and stuff.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
the white, being a bit judgmental, he needs to do a little bit more work on that. I can clearly see areas where the white paint has pooled and
Yep.
other areas where there's a thin layer over it.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. That's completely fair.
Rumble says, is it me or do the bases seem very tall?
Yeah. No, I just think it's because the miniature is quite small, so I think that's what it is. But I do believe we'll have some updates, but I'm not sure after this. I'm not 100%.
Yeah.
But let us move on. So next up, we've got it's the Member Monday, and essentially we there I talked about the plan. So we're trying to get 50 new members for WAYPN. We're currently at 13 of the 50 that we need. And yeah, basically, if we can do that, we can keep WAYPN viable. But as it stands, WAYPN is not viable as a as something we can do with the amount of effort we put into it. So yeah. After that, we have John Ross.
Our resident penguin. It has been a while since I posted, but life gets in the way of painting. My first project for December was a 7-color challenge, and I'm pleased with how it turned out considering how restricted I felt. And yeah, I would agree. It looks really good. I think he's done a good job.
Finish saying what he was saying.
That's it.
Oh, okay. Alright, felt restricted. Alright, well, I guess, Sonny, you wanted to go off first.
Yeah.
What would you like to say about it?
I think when I remember making a comment, but I guess it's not here. Must have been a different one.
It might be there. It might be no.
It's not there. So I think it had like a fun industrial vibe because of the orange and yellow stripings. It looks like
I
safety
do believe
gear.
he does another post a little later on, so it might be
Ah.
that. So it looks like he was doing our challenge.
Yes, the 7-color challenge.
But we'll throw to James and we'll ask what you think.
Well, I'm frankly blown away. Like, he only used those colors and he somehow painted the grass and dirt and stone like that. Like, that's really impressive.
I think that's just how it is.
Yeah, I know. It's one of those things where I'm always blown away by what people can do with restricted colors.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
As
mm-hmm.
though that I'm always like I haven't reached that level yet. So to me, it's just this like, oh my god, like well done. Yeah, it really works. So you don't often see a light blue overcoat, but it definitely works well with the orange, the white, and the little red shoulder pads. Yeah, he's done a great job to have it all work as a character piece.
So I'm just gonna read out some of the comments now. On my end, because I've got the OBS up, I don't see anything. So T says Star Wars Legion does have some torch bases as well. V says gotta go as it's late in my time zone. Good luck everyone, and he says have a good night. All right, so let's move on to the next one.
All right, so I'm just gonna read what Rumble has said first before we move on. Membership is less than a cup of pumpkin spice latte, and it's true. I say, and so he says there's no excuse. Probably it's only $2 a month. Right, so we will move on to Navi, and hello there, WAYPN. Just wanted to share something I've been working on this past weekend. Finally got the time to prime some of my Plague Marines and got the chance to fully paint this Plague Caster from the KT starter set. That's Kill Team. I must say I'm quite proud of how this one turned out. But now I'm afraid none of the other models will look as good.
So there's just one thing I'm gonna say, and then I'll throw it to James. The one thing that I really like that Navi has done here is he's shown his process, and I think that that's really critical for people seeing how people get there. So he's done a kind of warm zenithal. So he starts off with this dark brown, and then he goes into the white, right?
I might have to disagree. Because like sometimes when I take pictures of us doing the zenithal, the warm zenithal, the buff is so bright that it looks white. So
okay.
maybe it is a buff color, but it just in photo it looks white.
All right. Well, James, give us your thoughts on this dude guy right here.
Well, this is why I love this group, is because it is showing you the step by step as he builds up to it. As opposed to just the finished work, like here you go, admire my masterpiece. No, it's like here's what I started with. Here's when it didn't look good, and now look at it now. Yeah, he's done a wonderful job blending the Nurgle colors in with the warp magic in there, and the little bugs like that. They probably weren't easy to paint while trying to avoid the rest of the model. So props to him getting all the little details in there, and it just looks disgusting. And yeah, he's done a wonderful job, and he picked really good times to take the pictures to really show.
I would agree with that. Yeah, I would agree with that. Anything that you would like to add, Sonny?
I like the colors used. I just think that maybe the hood could be not the purple color, because I think the purple blue tones, because that's the purple blue tones could have been kept for the warp magic, because that's something that we see with the warp, those sort of colors. But I think it just sort of takes away from the Nurgle green that is very iconic.
Well, I don't mind it because it's just such a strong contrast, and I think with the way that he's doing it, he's just doing contrast colors, right? He's doing some browns and some greens, a little bit of red, right? You want it to pop off a bit,
yeah,
and you want it to seem magical, and if you're going to do that with not too much effort, just use some color theory, and purple and blue are very opposite to, not very opposite, are very contrasting to this desaturated green.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, shall we move on to the next one? All right, so the next one is Talk Tuesday, and well, it seems that somebody saw it because we've got at least one person online.
Yeah.
All right. We will move on to
Carlos.
Carlos.
Hello everyone, it's been a very long while since I last posted something and painted a mini. It's true. I have the pleasure to paint this mini in my free time in the past few weeks. Just finish it today. I'll post better pictures soon. I hope everyone has kept their brushes wet. Oh yes.
So James, I do believe this is similar to the Star Wars minis you got me to do, the 8mm ones. I think
Yes,
similar in
I
size.
I apologize about that. I didn't realize they were 8mm as opposed to, yeah.
So yeah, give us your thoughts.
I think I actually left a comment on this picture, so I'll be repeating my words
I'll
here.
see if I
Um,
can find your comment then.
Yeah, I see it
Oh, it's on the.
on this.
All right. Well, give me a second, and I'll go back to the post itself and see if you want to read it out.
Good looking figure. The red and blue do a good job of making it look good while also looking like he's moving around. So yeah, I like how he's done it, that it looks very monkish, but also looking at like you really feel like he's spinning around on the spot as opposed to just standing still.
I think that has a lot to do with the miniature itself, but I very much do like the colors that he has used. They're very vibrant. But Sonny, give us your.
I always like seeing Carlos's work because his shadow work is always so smooth, and he has such a strong understanding of how to use desaturated tones and moving your way up to more vibrant tones. And oftentimes people can get a bit afraid of going darker or desaturated, and I think it shows you how dynamic a piece looks, especially with such a small scale. You can see just from the picture, even though it's not super clear, right?
Yeah, it is a little
bit blurry. You can see everything.
Yes.
It pops. Even the wrinkles are all coming through, all that. And so I would say don't be afraid to desaturate your colors and work your way up to saturate.
I really like how saturated these colors are.
Yeah.
All right, but I think we will move on, shall we?
Yeah.
So, next up, I have a feeling that we know this guy. So, would he like to read out?
See how much better Gareth looks now. To me, he is tabletop ready, but I have some highlights to do, and I want to do snow bases for all the figures before I call and finish. We'll have more to show before WAYPN live.
Nice.
All right, well, let's take a look. So this is the board game. I've heard some people absolutely ragging on this board game, but I don't know exactly why. But I think it's also because another board game came out at a similar time. I remember him being slightly grayer than this.
I think it's the lighting.
Because,
if you look up in-game pictures, he's always got different shading depending on where the light is and what picture you're looking at him, and you can change the armor colors in the game. So yeah, it's really hard to get the poster image.
Because that was one of the things that I noticed with your paint job, that I thought the color, I thought that you got Rex right, but I felt like that this guy, like the Garrus, was a bit too colorful. But like you said, you've got more done later on. So shall we move on?
Yeah.
And we'll comment once you've got your ones fully done.
Yes, I will just say that the reason why I have the board game in there is one of the most common questions I get on my posts is, what game is this from? So I
yeah, exactly.
This is good, yeah.
And I like how people have started doing that. Like John Ross and Larry have been showing off the paints that they use and so on.
Yeah.
And the reason I don't is because, holy cow, the number of colors that I use. Like, for example, that galaxy effect.
Yeah, it's just your entire Chimera paint set.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I feel like I was gonna say something.
Words, probably.
Yes. So, this is basically why we say, try not to use acronyms because people might not know the game or the thing
Yeah,
that you're
yeah,
referring to. And when you show things like this, people know what you're talking about and they get introduced to something different and new.
Yeah, and also it can be very awkward when somebody says, "Look, I've got some new STDs," and you're like,
What? Which is actually Slaves to Darkness.
Yeah,
which
yeah.
We found out.
Yeah, and we're just like,
recently. We had to do a bit of a double take there. Anyhow, we shall move on to Kit Strong. Experimenting with the new iconic flesh tone set. Shall I let James go first?
Yeah.
Yes.
I really like that he's like showing off. I'm assuming that this is kind of like, I'm trying this out, this is the result kind of thing. We always need more of that. There's been so many times I think, I don't know what will this color turn out be. I wish there was some comparison or just an example of what they look like. I also left a comment on this guy, but that was just because I thought that he looked like a famous wrestler slash actor. So it's not really relevant to the actual painting part of it, just what the guy looks like.
He looks like the guy that acted in the Galaxy.
Oh, Dave Bautista? Is that his name?
Is that his name? I don't know. You know, the blue guy from Galaxy. If not.
Guardians of the
Galaxy. Yeah.
But he's not blue in that, isn't he? Like grey and red?
Yeah.
A bluish grey, no?
No.
Alright, well, anyhow, I think the way that he's painted up the skin looks so realistic.
It does look very realistic.
I like the second guy just because I can appreciate the desaturated browns, and he goes up to the peaches, and then he's got that nice hints of pinks to show the blood of your skin coming through around the face, central face, chest area.
Well, I think this must come with the set, and I think it's a great bust to use.
Yeah, and I think I'd like to point out that Kit only uses atomic paints. We'll read some. Oh, Kit's here. Right. Minute paint job with airbrush. Yeah, I figured you'd use an airbrush. I think it shows a lot of control. Fantastic. So good.
Would you like to read out what everyone said then?
Okay, I can post more pictures of the process. It's just experimenting with a quick 5 to 10.
Mm-hmm.
Rumble says, put safety back on the... Can I say this? I can say this, right?
Yeah, no, just leave it.
Yeah, don't worry, Penguin, you're already a member. They look like those human busy punching bags.
Oh, I know the ones he's talking about,
oh,
yes.
yeah, I know those. Oh my god, now, yeah, you're right. Not true, I use other paints. But I mostly see you use this one, though. Mostly use atomic paints.
So, this is where I get other people to give me a hard time. So, on the membership area.
Kit is on, right?
Well, if you guys would like to comment on this bad boy, I'll read him out, and then you guys can give your commentary on it, including the members who are on right now. All right. So, is that an RJ? Is that an RJ who's on? I only get an R.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You got to go over to your one because I don't see anything.
Do I have a... Yes, it's a Warren who needs to explain himself.
But we will get him to explain himself later because it is time for people to stress me out. It's Whip Wednesday. # Whip Wednesday. He's finally done. He's done. The
stinky devil.
Hopefully I will be streaming... Hopefully I will be streaming more this week for motivation and inspiration from all of you because I will provide none. What are you painting now? Make a post about it. So, I will throw to our guest and then to the rest of our Discord panel.
Oh, well, as a residential Zench worshipper, I am unhappy that you've chosen Nurgle as your demon of choice. So 0 out of 10.
Okay, well, just so you know, I did not choose at all. This is a commission.
I'll take this seriously now. No, I'm just blown away by the layers of green you have in there. I can see how you've laid up from, I want to say, purple up to the green and bright green along those areas.
Mm-hmm.
Is and yeah, you've done a great job of making it look demonic with the whole pox situation and and you would not want to get near those teeth. That would look very intimidating on a tabletop.
You get diseased if you get bitten.
All right. Would any of our other Discord panel members like to have their say?
I need to tell Kit that he's in the wrong room.
All right. Do you want to go in to the other room?
I'm just going to set a screenshot so that he can see where we are.
Okay. All right. Warren, if you're with us, would you like to comment?
I mean, just like before in all the whip photos, I love it. What was said earlier, the purple shadows into the green flesh. The one hand with the face coming out of it is probably still my favorite part of it.
Mm.
Your purple to pink tentacles are a really nice blend.
Mm.
Yeah, I think it's just a really, really, really well done piece. I think your client should be very pleased.
So my client is a man of few words.
Oh, very much so.
And like some of the times it makes me very worried because
his commentary is as long as your posts.
Yeah, he just
RJ.
goes, "It's looking good."
Great.
And it's just like, are you happy with it?
Yes.
And like, so that's the response to both a whip and a finished piece.
Product, yeah.
But I just wanted to get your thoughts. What do you think about this sort of bit that I've done in the back, the sort of slime process?
I like it. It makes sense. It fits into the narrative.
Yeah, Sonny was very upset by it.
I'm purposely not looking at it.
So we have with us, I do believe, the Dino Shepherd. If you'd like to comment at all, feel free. It is all right to be silent also.
I think he's trying to talk.
Yeah, I was actually just going to mention that this kind of color reminds me so much of the older paint jobs that Games Workshop used to do with their demons, with the very yellow pustules and that vibrant green and then that red cloth. It really makes it pop and stuff. I personally like to do my demons very, like the Nurgle ones anyway, very desaturated and stuff because it makes me feel like it's a bit more rotting and stuff like that. But I love all this vibrant color.
So the client just said, "Don't do it like this." That was my instructions. He showed me Rodigus.
The box art Rodigus,
and then said, "Don't do it like this." And I'm like,
okay.
There's a lot of room to maneuver there, and so I showed him sort of a very quick. I did up some very quick colors, with some airbrushing, and he liked the much brighter colors because I think he has the desaturated guys, and he wants this guy to stand out, but he didn't want him to be that sort of albino guy that I do believe Rodigus is compared to the other ones.
Sorry, 1 second. It can't access the stream.
Okay, give me 1 sec. I will find. So I'm gonna close this. And I go here, and then I'll find as Kit. So this is not Kit.
No, it's Radical Kit.
Okay, so where are we? Where are we?
The R. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's
Okay,
the one.
so give me a second. I gotta add the roll. All right.
Okay,
So
Kit, give it a try now. You should be able to see the stream.
yeah.
We had to put special precautions at one point.
Oh yes, there was somebody who decided to become very political in a stream very quickly, and we've
wasn't very
and
nice.
they also
Anyway, we don't need to talk
yeah.
about that. We'll just continue with what you've said.
Yes.
Oh yes, I think Kit has joined us. Yes, very good, very good. Please tell us your story. Yes.
Yes, there was somebody who.
Hello?
I think he had it playing through the speakers, so he's just muted.
Muting himself.
Yeah, I had to give you the role. All right. So.
Yes, very good. Very
Yes, I have.
please.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So you're just gonna have to mute it coming through the speakers.
Yeah.
Would you like to give any commentary, or should we move on to the next thing?
If you don't mind me asking, what was the information with the base? Because it looks like it's half on dirt and half on a road.
Yeah.
Was
So
that...
so he asked them to be on a road, and so I made the road, but the problem is he just he's too big for a road, just a road. If you follow what I'm saying. And so I did half and half, and the client was pretty happy with how the road looked, and that's why I did it. And the road is just sandpaper, and then we did what was it?
Painter's tape
and craft paint to give that layered built up lines.
Yeah, like the bitumen mixed pigment, though. However, they
So what they do is, I do believe it's like molten plastic or something.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Plastic.
Well, something like
So
that.
yeah, so it's thick, right? So
Yeah, it's very thick.
So we wanted to give it that thick raised look, so that's why we use a craft paint. But you do need to go in with a knife to release it.
Oh, it was
from the
a bit of a
painter's
nightmare.
Because
I
when you
think
peel it, it peels the tape, the paint with the tape.
yeah.
When you dry.
It was not the funs. But we'll throw to Kit and see if he's got things worked out now.
Yeah, I'm good. I've got my hospital my AirPods again.
All good. If you'd like to give your commentary on this guy, or if not, we can just move on.
All right, no, it looks great to me. I'm a very mediocre painter, so just like I'm
You
just
just-
here for fun. But no, it's
Just here for fun. All right. Well, let us
yeah,
move. All right.
and I know
Aren't you
zero about
going
Warhammer.
to-
So
Aren't you gonna yell at me about how I accused you for using one brand of paints only, huh? Huh?
no, because I mean I've been using them a lot lately, but I also use too thin coats. I use Chimera. I use speed paints.
Ah.
I just like ammo paints are dirt cheap in the EU, and they're actually really good. So I've just been yeah. They're my newest obsession, but it's not the only thing I use.
Yeah.
I'm just surprised that nobody commented on the milky nipples.
But can't see it very well.
They're right here.
Yeah,
you
but
can
like
see
the
the milk
focus
running
is the
down.
mouth is the focus.
All right. Well, we'll
Yeah.
move.
How will
We'll
anyone
move on
see?
before
More things happen. Oh, who is this?
Who is this? We should
oh.
have them read out their
The
post.
post. Oh,
yeah,
yes.
definitely. This
Oh.
person should read out their post. Whoever this person is.
I think maybe Kit's not looking at the stream at the moment.
All right. Well,
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I've got two different screens going on.
See?
Oh, that. What do you want to know?
yeah, no. If you just want to read out your post
yeah.
and give a bit of context.
Read it out. Hold on. Now, oh my God. Now I got to go to a different thing because I can't see that.
Oh, okay, all
Let me
good.
go to
Or
Facebook.
if that's the case, I'll go
Right,
to
no, I'm
these
good. I'm
and
good.
skip through.
I've got,
I think
I've
he's
got it.
got it. He's got it.
You got it?
Yeah, and I got to find my. Just looking for the actual post real quick. Damn, there's a lot of. There it is. Let's see. Wednesday morning experiment. Testing out a formula for cold undead demonic skin tones. Oh, as for this bust, this is just a 3D print that I found, and I've printed like 10 of them, and I just do all sorts of stuff with them.
I think they're really good for testing skin tones because, like,
Yeah,
it's
exactly. That's
all
why I
skin.
grabbed it. It was €2 on My Memory Factory, and it's just called like Academic Barbarian Bus, and it's fairly small. It's not a giant bus. I was like, perfect. So yeah, yeah. I've dubbed it the Skinethol process because I like to do things quickly, but I don't always want to rely on speed paints.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I've just tried to come up with some ways of like, putting a base coating everything in what I consider the shadow color, coming in at like a 45-degree angle with the mid-tone, and then adding some zenithols of the high tone, and it gives what I consider a pretty good base. Or then you could build it up further from there. But for tabletop rig, if you're for tabletop stuff, for me they're good enough. But in this case, yeah, just trying out a demonic formula. And I also grabbed some ammo shaders when I did my Black Friday shopping. So because I wanted to see how that behaves. So yeah, as expected, the shader behaves more or less like an ink, but they're cheap. Based it in blue and Chimera Blue Black. Sprayed it with that's a lovely typo. Sprayed it with intermediate blue from about 45 degrees, then highlighted in some cold gray. And then I didn't really use the shade properly. I just did a quick spray of the whole thing with the shade, and it's really designed to be more like you use it for like washing and panel lining and stuff. But I just wanted to kind of tint it a little bit. Yeah, just experimenting with the old zenithal.
Yeah, well, it does to me look like a very sort of standard zenithal, but I'll throw to the panel, and James, you are our guest of honor, so is there anything you'd like to say about it?
I don't really know what I can top up and say that the guy who actually painted them has already said. Yeah, it was nice to know where you got them from. I was thinking that it was like a test thing that you got in the pack with the paint, so it's nice to know that you printed out like 6 of these guys.
Yeah.
Jay, would you like to say something?
Yeah, I always like seeing kids' experiments. It's always nice to see how different things play together and work together. So, yeah, I like seeing the experiments.
It is what it
Thanks.
is.
Yeah.
Hey, Dino, would you like to say anything?
Well, I just love the practice. I've never worked on larger scale miniatures before, but it is nice to see the practice.
Yeah, I think that's actually a pretty good idea because like for the Bushido models that I was painting,
Yeah.
I actually busted out some of our test models that we've previously zenitholed just for testing out zenithal spray, and I used that to test out some of the contrast paints that I'd like to use before putting it on the model. And I feel like if we had a bunch of these big boys, just zenitholed and ready to go, you can use them to test out whatever paints before you do it on your final piece. So that's something that's good practice.
Yeah.
Righto.
And one other quick tip that I've figured out, and I unfortunately did not use it here, but I've done it on some other stuff. If you're trying to have more of those undertones shown through, like usually I'll use a magenta base and then start going with the skin tones. But if you want more of that undertone to shine through, if you use Liquitex airbrush medium as your thinner, that really increases the transparency. So you can build up those upper layers, as slowly, and then add the intensity as slowly as you wish.
That's the one I use if I'm using acrylics, but like often when I'm airbrushing, I'll be using lacquer paints, and I usually do that outside. But thinner is very underrated. I don't understand why people don't talk about that. And the other thing about airbrushes, which I wish people would talk about more, because like everybody's like, oh, they're magic, is it's 90% cleaning.
Oh yeah, no, that's also why I don't.
It takes
like
no
doing
time to clean an airbrush. I just
It's fast when you're doing it until you need to switch between colors, and you're like,
Yeah.
yeah.
takes me 30 seconds to switch between colors.
Really?
Yes. Go watch Vince Venturella's airbrush video on how to clean your airbrush fast.
Okay, we'll have to take.
All right.
Next,
So
There's a lot of
have-
other ones too, yeah.
Next we have Larry. Giant space hamster. Why it's named Space, I have no idea. But it's cute. A ways to go, but do far. Oh, so far so good. Yeah.
So I do believe he's just putting down his base colors here, right? Because we do actually have it finished up a little later on.
Feels very Sylvanian house.
Oh yes,
Doesn't
yeah. I took a minute to take that because Sylvanian is a like vampire clan in Warhammer. So I was like,
Oh, sorry.
what? Huh? What?
Is that cute little mouse?
Yeah, I know the
house
ones.
set?
I know the ones
Yeah,
you're talking
so
about.
cute.
But yeah, I think it's looking good, and I like that he includes the paints. But next up, we have.
Jams.
So, would you like
Guest
to
has
read this
to
out?
read.
My crew for my board game is coming along with the addition of Ergnot Wets. Gallus has a friend. And then I asked the question if you were planning on doing what's better to do, if you do like entire squad basing at once, or if you should do them like just when you finish the guys. I also included a picture from the game just so people know what I'm kind of like aiming for, because sometimes if you see aliens you're just kind of like, what am I looking at? So I thought I'll include
Yeah. Just show a picture of Rex. All right. So shall we go down the list? All right. Well, Rumble. What do you Sorry, not Rumble. Look, I've got look.
I need
look
to
at
change
this.
the bingo sheet.
No.
Me.
Look, because it's streamer mode, so I only get like R or R and T.
I thought Rumble said he's not here. Ah, yes,
No, because that's what I'm saying. I just get the R's.
Yes.
Like that's all I get. All right, so you have to do it from now on. So you can say their names and go through them.
Okay, well, first is RJ on the list.
All right, so what do you reckon?
Yes. So the minis themselves look good. As far as the basing question, I, as someone that hates doing basing, think that doing them all at once is a better idea, at least for me personally. Because I get bored with basing. So to just get it all done at once and also be able to keep it consistent, that's my idea behind doing it all at once versus doing them, individually as you go along. But again, that's just me and because of my personal relationship with basing. So
thank you. I was thinking that because I've never worked with snow before. I want to do snow bases for these guys, and I was a bit like, how should I do that? It makes a lot of sense. I'll be able to keep them more consistent with each other if I do them all at once I finish the entire crew.
yeah, the consistency is definitely my biggest idea and reason behind doing it all at once for sure.
All right, and then Kit is next.
Yeah, 100% agree about the basing. I also if I had my druthers, all my bases would be transparent, so I could just see whatever's beneath them.
Fair enough.
But if you are going to do, but when it does come to Bay, I've made this mistake myself when I started actually building out the Age of Sigmar spearhead. It's like not basing everything at the same time, and then they don't look cohesive. So you want to do all the bases at the same time.
What? How about you, Dino?
I've practiced with a lot of different kind of basing styles. I still have yet to find one that I like. I'm just glad to see Rex up and going because I accidentally killed him when I played in the first game. So
Oh no!
Oh,
Yeah.
on Birdmire. Yeah.
Yeah.
I will admit, half the reason why I bought the board game was just to get the Normandy crew as miniatures. So I was biased. I admit. Yeah, it's been good painting the Normandy crew.
Well, as for basing, guys, what I do, and so I very much enjoy basing, but for me, this is the biggest thing. So there's a few things that you got to remember with basing. Basing is just like painting. you want to layer it, and in my opinion, it is better that you do it in batches together, because what you want is your base is your story. Your base is who your people are, what they're doing, that sort of thing. It gives cohesion to the group. So the biggest thing is when you're using your texture paste or whatever it is, you want to have your guys sink into it a bit. So what you might do is just move some of the stuff around so you've got that. But the biggest thing is just layer things up, and yeah, batches is way better than that. So as for the miniatures themselves, I think Rex is looking great. I really, really like Rex. I think he looks fantastic. But I do think that Garrus is looking... I know that considering that he's a very brown character that we're looking at right now, he feels a little colourful to me because I'm used to Garrus being a bit more grey. But as you said, you used a reference picture, and yeah, so
I think he still has that sort of plain look.
He just seems more grey in the game. That's what I'm saying.
It's not grey enough.
Yeah,
Is it
no,
not grey?
in the game he seems more grey, but like I guess like James says, it depends on
the
the
light.
scene, yeah, and the lighting.
Fair.
All right, so we will move on to
Who this?
yes,
who this one?
but this is this finished? I'm not
Is
sure
this
this the
last
finished
update?
one. Is this the last update one? All right. So someone is going to have to explain themselves because I need this explained, Warren, because when I saw you start this whole thing, I was confused. And then you continued.
Yes,
and
walk us through your steps.
And I became more confused. So now's the time for talking.
Okay. So I definitely approached this one differently than I've ever approached a project before.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen other people do it where an OSL heavy project, they'll start with the OSL and then kind of work backwards.
Mm-hmm.
And it was always something that I thought was kind of weird, because why wouldn't you just establish all your colors and then work your OSL into it? But I always struggled with keeping things dark and desaturated, and I thought that starting with my brightest point while having everything still the darkest and then kind of working from there would help me keep my darks darker and keep things more desaturated. And I think it helped a bit, but I also think I kind of didn't really follow the process I was supposed to, because I think I definitely got a little bit more saturation and color than what I wanted to in some areas.
Mm-hmm.
But there's still time to go back and make adjustments, and I plan on it. But yeah, that was kind of my idea with the starting with the OSL and then working backwards. And I know I made a few comments about how I don't think I would do that again. But
Yeah.
the more I work on this, honestly, the more fun I'm having with it, approaching it from a different point of view. So for heavy OSL projects, I might approach it with this this technique again. But for just smaller OSL, lenses or eyes or just little glowy things, I don't think that is really a appropriate method.
I can see why you'd say that. But like for me, I understood everything up to a point, right? So you started off with like, because I've even talked about doing OSL in that way. What you do is, like, for example, one of the best ways to do OSL is if you don't think that you've got the talent for it, you just use the zenithal process, but instead of doing a proper zenithal, you just zenithal from the light source and just use contrast paints, right? And like I do believe, James, do you remember? Was it the house on Haunted Hill?
Yes, I do believe that you did some work for me on that. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's where I first did that, and I think that it worked out really, really well because you just essentially paint from there. And like I understood what you were doing there. I understood like, okay, I go grey to have my furthest distance and then white for the brightest. And I'm like, yep, it all follows. And then you put on the yellow and I was just like, eh, no español. Sí, por favor, por favor.
Yeah, I also was confused. And then
Yeah.
all the other colors were coming in and I was confused even more because I was like, how is it not touching the yellow? And it still looks blended and nothing's overlapping.
Yeah. It was very cute, confusing for us. But I think it's good to try out different processes and yeah, like I like the result, but I do honestly think that it could honestly use some blood for the blood god because I think like it feels a bit too textured, the blood.
Like Matt?
No. See, look at the like granularness of it.
Okay, yeah.
Like it looks a
So
bit.
that is the army painter's new aged dried blood. So it is a very textured blood.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because like it feels like in this scene, because have you watched the series Berserk?
No.
Okay.
I have. I don't think I'll ever forget it.
So, this feels very much like a scene from Berserk, and I don't feel like it's aged blood at all. That it is, everything's fresh here, including their trauma, the two people off to the side. But I'm gonna move on from this piece because I think we've talked about it for quite a while. All right, so next up we
Got
have
Ilka. Happy Whip Wednesday. I have achieved my very little day, but I am very proud of that accomplishment. We'll gift these to Mama and Grandma respectively. They'll know violence is the answer and that in grim dark far future there is only war. Then they can use these decorate their Christmas trees or whatever. Godspeed and Merry Christmas.
All right. Well, I guess we'll just throw it out to the crew, starting with James.
How has Games Workshop not done stuff like this before? Or like, I sometimes wonder why they don't. This is something that painters would buy just to put up on their Christmas tree. I'm assuming he did this by hand, both with the globe and the miniatures in there. So it's like, yeah, really good props to him. They managed to get all this done and make it look professional enough that it's like you could maybe sell these on Etsy or something.
Yeah. Well, if you
you're
have
not
to buy
wrong.
Games Workshop kits to sell them on Etsy, that might not be the best business plan because you got to include the GW price tag, and people are like, I will never pay that price.
Yeah, and you'd probably get sued into oblivion if it got successful.
Yeah, well, they're known for being very forgiving and understanding, aren't they? Good old GW.
Yes.
Indeed. Well, so we have Kit comment next.
No, I think they're brilliant. I love them. But yeah, I agree. I totally agree about the GW price point. I have literally one thing from GW, and that's the the Sigmar starter set Spearhead. So,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, they look. I think they look awesome. I would hang them on my Christmas tree for sure.
RJ?
I agree with everything else everyone else has said so far. Really, really creative and neat idea.
And Dino?
These remind me of, I believe that there was a tutorial by Duncan Rhodes or somebody that they actually had ornaments that you could actually add a little miniature into, and they based it and everything else. And
That sounds cool.
I don't remember how long ago that was, but I remember something of it.
I'm gonna see if I can find it. In the meantime,
I think James wanted to add something, so
Oh, yeah.
why don't you say something at the moment?
Yes, thank you. Now that I'm looking at the two gobos more, it's obvious the one on the left is meant to be a goblin Santa, which I find very funny. I'm just a little bit. Maybe you guys can help. The goblin on the right, is he meant to be the same Santa on a rooftop dropping dynamite down a chimney, or is he meant to be more like a Krampus, like evil Christmas spirit, like they have in some mythologies? For the good and bad of the Christmas spirit. Like, is it meant to be the same goblin or the more eviler goblin?
Uh, yes.
I have no idea.
But there is just one thing that I wanted to find, and I think
Yeah,
it's.
I immediately thought of the Raging Heroes ornaments that they
So
sell.
I'm just gonna bring this up for a second, and hopefully it will come through no problems. But yeah, so Raging Heroes did a whole project where they did Christmas baubles you could print, but
Yeah, they're
it
very
was
detailed as well.
it was a Kickstarter, I believe, and I think it's over. And like every Christmas, if you're a Heroes Infinite person, you can get them or something. And like they, oh yeah, there's this one where it includes like a little town and that sort of thing. And like you've got
Dice.
yeah. So like I was just like, that's what I thought of immediately.
Yeah, that's also the thing that came to mind.
But I think we've done this one to death.
Yeah, I think he's still waiting to color them. Is he the gobos?
I'm not sure. But next up, we've got Tia. Here's what I've been working on. James, your thoughts?
Oh my god, it's Doom Guy from the 90s. Nah, it's like a little joke there. Yeah, this must be a throwback guy from something I don't recognize. Is Yeah, I'm just trying to identify if it's meant to be an old Chaos Marine or a Minotaur in armor or something I completely don't recognize. Because I think that's a Space Marine backpack on the back of him.
Yeah, no,
Oh, yeah.
he's as far as I know, it's meant to be an old Chaos Space Marine. But yeah,
I know Tia likes to do a lot of as well. So it could be a custom model. I'm not too sure.
Well, I'm sorry that I don't immediately know what he's done. I'm truly sorry. I need to work more to gain more knowledge in miniatures.
Oh, it's all right. It's all right. No problem.
Yep.
Sorry, you go. I'm just collecting my thoughts.
Okay. Well, while James is collecting thoughts, would Kit like to share their thoughts?
Well, I got nothing. My Games Workshop knowledge runs very shallow. I have no
It's
idea what
okay.
this
Like
world
more about the painting. Like what do you think
Yeah.
of the colors?
it's all right. I think we'll move on from this one, and we'll go to
I
the.
don't like the green with the green armor. I'll say that much. I think that's too. Yeah, the base.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
bit too much green. Yes, I think
Yeah.
there needs to be a little bit of variation. I hear what you're saying. All right, so next up we've got John. Gas.
Gas.
Got to give it the gas. Would you like to read out?
Finally made myself put the lion together. I think I have good start. Now on to fine tuning.
All right. Well, we'll throw to James first.
Well, I'm sorry to disagree with him, but he said that he's finished putting it together. I'm like, I don't see a head there.
Yeah.
Maybe that's intentional.
It's intentional. The headless horseman.
But no, I'm a big fan of the Dark Angels and the Lion. The Dark Angels is actually what originally pulled me into the Warhammer lore to begin with, and that still stuck around to me with my Space Marine 2 profile. So I'm gonna give this guy a good look. Off the top of my head, I really like how he's done the cape and the front flap. Like he's obviously spent time with the red and little bits of green. Like that's not easy to do. I'm sure you guys will probably be fascinated with other stuff, but I'm just blown away by how well he's done the etchings and markings on the fabrics. It's because I would have a hard time with that.
And Kit, what are your thoughts on technique, colors used?
I think I love the colors. I really love. I'm digging that loincloth. That's really clean. Pretty impressive. Is that NMM or is that true metallic?
True metallic.
Okay, I was about to say if that's NMM, that's like I generally am not a big fan of NMM, but I'm like that's amazing if that's NMM. But either way, that's really nice true metallic as well. There's one spot on the inside of the cape that looks like the highlight should not be where it is, but overall, I think it's pretty.
Where do you feel that it shouldn't be?
That one, the recess on the right side, you got the. I don't know. It just looks too bright. That one. I don't have any way to point to what I'm talking about, but there's that
Right
one
here?
recess. Where are you pointing? I can't. I don't see a cursor. I have no idea
Is
what
the
you're-
cursor not coming up?
It like comes up intermittently for him. Now I see it. No, I don't. Go down to the right a little bit. No, inside on the inside of the cape.
Yep.
That streak running kind of not the outer edge one. That one that's kind of connecting between the ridge. Nope, not that. To the right a little bit. It's going kind of up.
Up
The
here?
one that's at an angle. It's at an angle. The one parallel to that.
Okay, up here?
Between those two. Maybe you're not seeing it on your end, but there's like a another way.
Other
But
way.
anyway, back
Right.
up towards the edge, but between the big crease and the edge and the green edge, there's that one that runs. It looks to me like that's a low point. That,
Yeah, here?
but no, the one you were just on, just below that, the
Over
really
here?
bright spot just below that,
Down here or up here?
below it, zoom down. The thing.
Here?
To me, it reads really bright. Maybe it's just my perspective, but yeah.
Okay.
It's part of it reads a little off to me, but it could just be, like I said, it's probably just me because I'm not familiar with the model at all. But the part right below that, where you were just pointing, a little really bright spot just below it.
I see.
Yeah, on my computer I can't quite see extra bright spot.
Yeah.
It looks not so.
Yeah. So it could just be some artifact on my things. Yeah.
I'm not sure.
I wouldn't worry too much because the rest of it looks great. So I'm like, that's one thinking that's maybe just something that's.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
coming
It's
across
just
me.
we want
Yeah.
to give feedback to whoever's painting. So if there's something that catches your eye, point it out. That's fine. We have RJ. RJ, would you like to share?
Yeah, I also think that it's a really, really good start. I wonder if he plans on adding any texturing to the inside of his cape thing. I've seen a lot of people that will add texture to make it look almost like a wool or woven or something.
I know what you're saying, like cross stitching and stuff like that.
Yeah. I definitely don't think it's necessary. It's definitely one of those things that you notice, and if you know what they're doing, you know that they took a lot of time to do it. But even if he doesn't do that, I still think it's looking really good. The metal work looks nice. I think black is, as I've said before, a really hard color to make look interesting, and I think his is looking pretty interesting so far.
Yeah. Yep.
And then we finally have Dino.
Yeah, I love this miniature. Like these Forge World Primarchs, they just have so much detail. I'm working on 3 of them currently. Even with the Horus miniature, his ear, you can see the little bits of cartilage in it. Like it is so detailed. The thing that really stood out to me about this one is that a little light source next to his foot.
Yeah, it
he's
is.
Put hot coals on there.
Yeah.
Oh, that is really cool. I love that.
That's fallen out from there. So the one thing, so I would agree with you that like the miniatures are super detailed, But I don't know who decided the color schemes and the way that they painted them through Forge World. It's like they got a historical miniature painter to do all of their painting, because you take a look and they're just the most boring, dull paint jobs that you have ever seen, right? But they're like got lots of chipping and all of these sorts of like they're painted like the Primarchs are painted like tanks. And I'm like, who made this decision? What and it
Well,
just
from what I understood, it's the same guys that did the Badab War. They wanted to see if Marine on Marine would work, so they ended up making the Horus Heresy because Badab was such a success.
Oh, the Badab War was great. The Badab War was fantastic, but it had zero to do with the miniatures and had everything to do with the story, which was absolutely fantastic. And then I think the guy who did the Badab War, after he finished it, almost immediately died. And I'm like, what? What?
Huh?
Yeah, he's dead.
Oh God.
Yeah, and
Maybe
Oh, wow.
because he put all of the war memories into the books, that he's like, I've finished my purpose. I will leave now.
yeah, well, he
check
didn't
out.
finish his purpose because the GW desperately needs writers. All right,
Poor
so
Penguin, what is wrong with painting tanks?
no, what is wrong with painting people as tanks?
Ah!
Yes. All right. So next
Righto.
up, we've got Larry
Larry.
Hasenflu.
Added eye, skin tone, some base colors on the back.
I think he looks even more Sylvanian story.
Yeah, but I like it, the pink on the nose. I like the pink in the ears, but I think he needs to go in with a bit of peach to tone down the pink in the paws.
Maybe.
Just
Maybe.
a little bit of highlights.
What are your thoughts, James?
Well, I will actually answer a question you had earlier with his earlier post, and that was just what makes them space. And
Oh
I'm no
yes, yes.
yeah,
I know what
yeah.
you're talking about, but please continue.
Yeah. I'm no expert on the subject, but as far as I'm aware, it's a Dungeons and Dragons thing.
So
where
I can explain it if people want. So in there was a whole series of games done by TSR during the 90s. Some of them were very beloved, such as Ravenloft and Spelljammer. Other ones like Dark Sun and Planescape and Birthright, not so beloved. I love Planescape, but not so beloved. Yeah, and in Spelljammer, there was one of your enemies was the giant space hamster, and within its entry, there's a little bit of text for the miniature giant space hamster, which is indistinguishable from a regular hamster, but we assure you that it is a miniature giant space hamster, and that's what Boo is
Oh,
in
his name is Boo.
in Baldur's Gate. That's
Oh.
what the barbarian carries around with him as his animal companion.
Not Hamtaro.
No.
It's Boo.
Alright.
Yeah, Penguin says, I think Ducky would like a model like this. I have introduced him to Red Wall and he can't get enough of it. Right. Well, right. So, I think, has Kit said something already?
I don't believe so.
Not really.
Okay.
No, but I will say that's one of the few types of eyes I will actually do.
Oh, yeah, just dot them black.
Yeah, just a nice shiny black orb. That's like spider
Yeah.
eyes. Great, perfect. Keep doing eyes.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I'm curious to see where we go. I'm assuming it's not done because I don't,
The backpack. I think it's just the fur that's done. The fur and the
So
skin.
I'm curious to see, the finished result and how it pulls it all together. So yeah.
And then we have RJ.
I agree with everything that's been said so far. I also do agree with what you said, Sonny, in that I think the The pinks could use a little peach glazed in to kind of bring the pink down a little bit.
Mm-hmm. And then we have, I believe, Dino.
Yeah, I love this miniature, just how cute it is and stuff. I do like how the sculpting on the hands and the feet though, and how it's kind of a different color than the fur, because the fur is very, very cute. But then the little hands and stuff, they're like they can be deadly. I've been around some hamsters and they can be very, very scratchy.
Yeah. I totally see what you're saying.
Well, I think we're going to have to reverse the order next time because Warren's always like, I agree with everything that has been said.
Oh, so Warren go first next, okay?
Yeah, all right. So next up, we have more Larry.
More Larry, Spider-Man, and Blurry Black Cat. I'm reliably informed he can do whatever a spider can. But we should all be glad he wasn't bitten by an Australian spider, or he'd be 3 times larger and an unholy terror hiding where you least expect him. Only got some base colors down, no shading. Edit, forgot to photo paint, so here's the list. Blood Angel's red contrast, Vallejo Imperial blue, Crow white, and Coal black. Vallejo black, scale 75, golden skin. So RJ, you have to go first.
I just want to start by saying that the Blood Angel's red contrast is probably one of my favorite ways to start red. Such a great opaque red. Anyway, the pieces look really good, especially for just being base coated. I think once he starts getting some shadows and highlights in, things will really pop. But yeah, really good start so far.
All right, James.
I have to give him props for the eyes. Spider-Man has always had those eyes that they seem easier to paint than normal eyes because you have the clear line, color within the line, so to speak. But you always end up like making mistakes and having to redo it, or at least that's my pace. So I'm impressed how he's done the costume. He's still got that muscle definition showing through the costume that just makes it that get that extra couple of degrees up, and have to prop the model makers for making him what looks to be out in the open with just a thin little piece of plastic holding him up, unless there's some line connecting to his leg that I don't see. But yeah, quite impressive for Spider-Man.
Do you have any tips considering you've done the whole Marvel Crisis project?
I think you mean Marvel Zombies but no, I know what you mean. I'm assuming he's doing a costume based on the black spider in the middle there, because my first thought isn't the
I have
supposed to be white?
I have no idea what's going on, so do not look to me for the answers.
No, I'm throwing you under the bus. You have to give us the answers right now. You're expected to know.
Okay, so moving on. Sorry, everybody else. You don't get to comment on this one. Unless Sangeetha is going to pop in for this and give you a chance to speak.
I don't know anything about this model. I thought
All
maybe...
right. Well,
it's
moving on time
yeah,
then.
right. Then I guess it's
It's
Kit.
even more Larry.
Even more Larry after that.
And we can start with Kit this time.
Yeah, we will start with Kit this time. So let me read what he said. Playing with a little radioactive fire. Green Stuff World blue fluorescent splash gel with a little white on it to be gone over with a different fluoro blue. Also, some fluorescent blue pigment for radioactive dust and lighting. Not sure if it works. So Kit, tell us if it works.
It's working for me. I think the only thing that's not quite working is those exhaust pipes coming out of the hood. And they look a little too bright and shiny.
Righto.
I need a little bit more grinding on those, perhaps. But I think I actually like the blue puddle of whatever that is. And I think
Yeah, some sort of
Let me see.
radioactive thingy there. Too sure.
Yeah, right. Yeah, most of it looks. I think it's pretty cool. But yeah, just those pipes look a little too shiny and clean.
Fair enough. How about you, Dino?
Yeah, something that I'm noticing is how even the light is around it. I'd like to see a little bit, maybe more texture around it, or maybe have it shining off of like the undercarriage.
Mm.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, I see what you're saying.
Right, okay. Well, how about now we do RJ?
Yeah, I agree that some of the other surrounding materials should be picking up on the light, especially the more silver metallic surfaces. Those should be really catching the light.
Mm.
How about
But
you?
other than that, I do like the pop of different color there, the blue in contrast to the yellow and green.
Yep.
Okay. James?
Yeah, I agree with Kit where those vents are way too clean for an orc vehicle, but I also appreciate how he's gotten a big red button and on the driver's seat of like, yeah, it wouldn't be a orc
Oh, yeah.
good orc respecting car if you didn't have a big red button that did something. I will quickly say this is why I love this group because I would never have thought of bluish radiation painted like that. Like it seems so obvious looking at it, but I would never have thought of that if, on my own. So I'm very thankful for that tip. And he's obviously done a good job with the paint work. Like that's brushstroke masterwork level of like I cannot see the brush ish
The
strokes.
strokes.
My words are failing me at the last. It sounded so
It's-
good at the start.
It's all right. We'll move on from this one and on to the next.
Got Andy spent a pleasant evening working on this dude's various accoutrements and trying a bit of object source lighting from the lantern. Didn't have access to my airbrush, so been doing it with a normal brush. I think it works. His hat needs a bit more, and the various books and scrolls need highlighting and shading, but progress is being made. I'm gonna start with RJ.
Are we? So that he can't agree to everyone else.
Yeah, he has to come up with his own opinion. Yeah.
I really like it so far. All the paintwork looks really clean. The OSL I think it looks really good for kind of, in comparison to everything else, because everything is pretty bright and saturated. So it doesn't give off the vibe that this character is necessarily somewhere where the OSL is needed. But you can still see it's there. So I think that if they want to push the brightness of the OSL, they should try to darken some areas a little bit more. But
Yeah.
if that's not the effect they're going for, and they're going for more of a subtle OSL, then I think they're really on to in a good place for that.
Yeah, I think it looks good also. But what I really love about Andy is the models that he gets. Like, what I like seeing is the variety of models on WAYPN. I love seeing. So we went from Marvel Crisis to an Orc, War Wagon to this, right? And we've got Mass Effect models, we've got Kingdom Death, we've got everything under the sun. It's not just like, well, I did my Space Marine this way. And like, I've got nothing against Space Marines, but when you see 10 of them in a row, you just sort of feel de-energized.
Yeah,
or at least I do.
Yeah.
So like, it's such a characterful model, but I'll let us go to the next.
Okay. I thought we.
Yeah,
the
next
one.
person.
Okay, so next we can have Kit comment.
Yeah, did he say where that model's from? Did I in this thing? That is a
Uh,
really
You
cool
might
model.
have said it on the very first post that he made.
Mm,
Okay,
But
actually,
no,
yeah,
no.
yeah, I can always ping him. And it is, yeah, it is really cool. And I think for doing it by hand with a brush, I think the OSL reads pretty well. I mean, it's convincing. I mean, yeah, yeah, that's a great little model. Yeah, I like all the little details. I like especially on the back, all the stuff on the back of the backpack. I thought looked really
yeah,
popped.
I feel that I agree with what Warren has said. Like if he can grab a hold of his airbrush, I think a little bit of shadowing in either blues or purples, maybe blues and purples, in the shadowing area will bring more attention to the warm light. Because right now it looks like he's properly lit, and then there's another additional light source.
Yeah, like, but I can, like I said, like Warren said, it feels like there is just a normal light source. I have a feeling with this character and all of the stuff that he's carrying around, I feel like this guy could be out during the day with that lantern just because of who he
just
is.
all the things that he's carrying.
Yeah, he's just like, oh, you need one of my many baubles. You must see, the world, flat it is, and
Yeah,
it's not round. It is. But yes. So I think I'll move on to. Oh no, I accidentally closed the next one, which is upsetting. But we will get Sunny to read, and then we will get others to
Okay.
comment.
All right. Just say had a little time off as I've been waiting for a Kickstarter that's been due any day now since he's been talking about this
Yeah.
for so long. Yes, now since early November it still hasn't shipped. My Black Friday purchases have started arriving though, so I've already started work on Lily and her Treeman for God Tia. Early airbrush work only so far. Actual painting starts tomorrow.
Well, I think in this case we might skip over it a bit because like I took a
Why?
look. Well, look, it's just him
so
starting.
pretty.
All right, I will let you comment and then we'll go to our last
Oh
one.
yeah, I really like the choice for the colored wings. I've never seen this type of butterfly wings types before.
It feels like a
Like a moth?
moth wing done on a butterfly.
But I think it gives it that very, those watercolor storybook illustrations.
Oh yes.
It has that sort of very naturalistic
They
look.
were very popular in like the 1960s to 80s, weren't they?
Yeah.
I know
get,
exactly what you're talking
I get
about.
that feeling from it, and I really enjoy that he's gotten those very black tips, and they go brown and tan and a nice like bright white, because it gives that sort of ancient and ethereal look, because it's a glowing from the back, like the pixie is glowing, and then the wings are showing that OSL. I think this is a very fantastic choice, and keep on with
But
that.
yeah, it's just putting those values in place. And finally, we're ending off with myself. So I'll just throw to the guys. Were any of you on the stream last night?
I was on 3 different streams throughout the day.
Okay. I've done, I guess because I'm doing them.
We've done 4 total
Yeah.
regarding this.
So yeah, this is a very much trust the process sort of thing, because when you start off, it
does not look well. It looks interesting.
Yeah,
but it
I'll
doesn't
see-
look right either.
I'll see if I can
You've got
find.
there it is. It's right there.
No, that's the stream.
Okay.
Like that's the.
You gotta go design work.
Yeah. No. I was gonna go to you because you sent me the various thumbnails.
Okay.
Yeah, these thumbnails.
Yeah,
'cause-
but I have those pictures without the words. in
Oh,
the
okay. Do
thing.
you? All right.
It should be. So if you go to design work and then the actual, there you go.
So this is how it actually starts out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I joined at some point when you were applying those colors, and my first thought, well, that's clearly a demon prince. what are you doing to it? So yeah,
Yeah,
I was
what are you doing
very
to it?
confused.
Yeah.
You
But
cut
I
out
can I
there a
can
bit,
see the
yeah.
okay, sorry. Yeah, I can see the process that you're building up to, which is good to see. Because yeah, I
Yeah.
would never have thought that nighttime sky started as that.
Yeah, no, and that's part of it, because then you do the black over it, and
The
then we get
airbrush.
here,
Yep.
and then finally you end with that, and like I think that's a 5 or 6 stage process of putting the stars in.
Yeah, because we do the different color stars by distance.
Yes, yeah.
So it's like, what was it? Red, orange, yellow.
So
blue.
you go white, blue, yellow, orange, red. And in between blue and white, I mixed a blue white because the blue was quite deep, quite dark, and it didn't show up as well as I had liked. But yeah, so I'll just throw to Warren. What do you think?
I think it looks really cool. I definitely understand what you mean by trust the process. Watching you do it, there were definitely points where I was kind of like, is he sure it's going to turn out the way he thinks it's going to? And yeah, you trust the process. I think it's looking really good, and I
Especially
can't
when
wait to see it finished.
Yeah.
Especially when you sound so confident right on the stream, and everyone's like, "Bruh," and then it's like, "Oh, all right, okay,
Yeah,
I guess
yeah,
he
for
does know
sure,
what he's
for
doing."
sure.
Anyhow, so how about Dino? I think we didn't let Dino speak.
Yeah, I was on the stream. I think I got there at the very end on Monday or something like that when it was very much tie-dye looking. It was very much a shock to see it look so much different, but I do love it. I paint to make things fit the lore, and so seeing this thing, like how demons and demon princes aren't quite part of the world yet, and then it kind of like how you painted it to be like with those colors from the blue down to the red. It's like its feet are in the world, but it's still a little ethereal in my mind.
Yeah, so the plan is after this, and this will be the sad part, is where I'm gonna put the layers of black on over. So the galaxy is going to be its the shadow of its body. If you have ever seen the lizard men in the artwork, so give me, what are the lizard men called now? They're not called.
Saurus?
No, they're not called that. What are the lizard men in Age of Sigmar called now?
There's like
Seraphon?
the skunks.
Seraphon.
Oh yeah, Seraphon.
Do you know when they first named it that? Unfortunately, there was a popular furry character, and it had particular art, because I remember searching for the Seraphon, and I did not have safe search on.
Oh no.
Apparently.
So when they started out, that's all there was on the
Oh my god.
It
Okay.
was.
I didn't find the thing.
Yeah, I will try and find the art while you.
I'll
come
get
up.
Kit to comment. Kit to comment on it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and watch the stream to see how that, to see the process actually play out, because it's quite cool, and I definitely can't wait to see the finished result.
Actually, Kit, I believe we have
An episode on that.
Yeah, but you put a link in there somewhere, didn't you? Someone asked. Oh no, that was a different group. Yeah, so on our YouTube channel, if you just type Galaxy, there will be a video that pops out. Galaxy Bellicor and why you need lore. I believe the first half is us talking about why lore is important, and then the second half is where we actually show how to do this galaxy look. And
Cool.
you could always skip right ahead to that if you like, but that one shows it very quickly and easily how it's done. So
Oh.
there you go. And so yeah, what do you think of this look for the Bellicle?
I think it looks very cool. I'm excited. I can't wait to see how it all comes together. Yeah,
Me
see it
too.
finished. But yeah, I think it's really cool looking.
We originally this would be Henry's second Bellicle. We did a Bellicle before this, which is for a competition at a local Warhammer store. And the original one, the body we did with like a color shift with black. And then the wings was the only thing that had the galaxy.
Here's what I will do. I'll go. Here's one I prepared earlier.
Yeah, like every other tech.
Um,
Here's what we did.
so this is how he should end up looking.
Oh, cool.
I'll get some more pictures because give me a second.
So, if you don't mind me asking, what inspired you to do this second Demon Prince with the same sort of
this-
starry sky?
Commission piece, this one.
So, commissioned by the same person, and like, they're a very cool dude. But when it comes to communication, so when I showed them the galaxy effect, they had the exact same response to the finished Rodigus. I showed them the galaxy effect and they're like, looks great. And then I'm like, I will be very nervous now. But yeah, so that's what he's sort of going to look like.
So basically that's the concept. And so we switched things around. This time the body is all galaxy.
Yeah.
And then the shadow sword, which originally was done in that color shift, will just be black and
black and steel, and then like this is gonna have like ethereal green blue flames coming off it.
Oh, that sounds sick.
But yeah, so that's where it will be.
I feel like fluoro inks would be great for that, like the ethereal blue green.
Maybe.
Because I saw someone did a Stormcast in that, like, you know, the Stormcast, the new one with the flaming wings. Flaming wing? The AOS models.
Oh, yep, no,
that's how they did it.
Stormcaster 10. Where they've got the wings where they're on fire.
Yeah, so he did the white ink first to let it all go into the recess, then he did like a blue fluoro and then a green fluoro. And that looked really cool. I thought it might be... But who knows?
I don't think everyone has spoken just yet.
So I think... Kate, have you said something?
Yes.
Okay. Then I think Ames is probably haven't said.
I asked about why you were doing a second Demon Prince.
RJ, I think RJ has said.
Yes, I think it's Dino.
Dino, no, we asked Dino.
All right.
Then
So that's everyone then?
Yeah.
All right. Well, if that's the case, everybody, thank you so much for joining us, and we hope that you have enjoyed our little piece. And as always, keep those brushes wet. Bye bye.